okayfm 101.7.
Mami Konamini Dr. Hassan Ayariga, leader, founder, APC, Amanyuko, Ewo, Ghana, ha, Nigeria, na yanene ntwen komo ye bepoto ewo brofum ye wi a na ya kire ase. Dr. Hassan Ayariga, good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners.
Yeah, it's been a while, and then it be like you are in a political hibernation.
No, that is not true. It's just that we've been doing reorganization at the polling station and constituencies, and we've been alive. So, I mean, the economic situation in Ghana is tough. And Ghanaians are feeling it very hard. Prices of goods and services have gone up, and salaries of workers are still stagnant. So it's a very tough time for Ghanaians and everyone.
I see. And the APC in Nigeria just won an election. Would that be a reflective of what will happen in 2024 concerning your own APC in Ghana?
We are praying and hoping that the Ghanaian people will make a change come 2024. We are hoping that Hassan Ayariga and the APC will win the next coming election, given the circumstance that the economic situation is unbearable and life is not that better for Ghanaians under the leadership of the MPP and the NDC. As you are aware, today, if you hold 1,000 Ghana cedis and go into the market, probably your salary, the whole of your salary, you come home with nothing. So we are praying that Ghanaians have seen all this and the bad leadership, and they will make a right choice come 2024. They will not recycle NDC and MPP again. And we are hoping that all of you will make that change to make APC the next government.
And one of the reasons assigned to this economic recession that we are in is that because of the COVID and then that of the Russia-Ukraine war. Would you buy that idea?
I don't really want to buy the idea of COVID and Russia-Ukraine war alone. But I think that if we have managed our economy very well, without wastage, without mismanagement and corruption, I don't think we'll be where we are. Of course, there's an impact on Russia-Ukraine war and COVID on many nations, but ours is severe. And I think we would have come out of it better. Look at the dollar, where it is today. That has nothing to do with Russia-Ukraine war. Because if we are producing and manufacturing, I don't think Russia-Ukraine war will be a problem to us. Because we will be able to produce what we consume and consume what we produce. We don't need Russia to be a problem. We have crude. We aren't able to refine it. We have minerals. We are able to make it finished goods. We have cocoa. We are not able to make chocolate out of it. So the whole system boils down to management, corruption, and wastage.
As you just said, we are in these doldrums perhaps due to mismanagement economically. So what is in your sleeves there if you are voted into power to wrestle us out of this mess?
First of all, we don't have food security. The issue of food security is a big problem for Ghanaians as of now. And we import almost everything into this country.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep importing and not producing and not manufacturing, not to talk of industrialization, you become dependent. And Ghana has what it takes not to be dependent on nations.
Oh, but the government walked into the path of the one district, one factory, of which some of them is performing very well.
Of course, you can make good policies, but the issue of policies and implementation are two different things. Okay? Crisis demand that you become creative and innovative. What have we done? What have we learned from being in crisis? We have not been creative. We have not been innovative. We have only been dependent. And that's the issue. Are you with me? If we begin to draw good policies of one district, one factory, one village, one constituent, $1 million planted for food. And yet, food stuff are so expensive that even the time there was no such a policy, then you tell me that you are doing well, then I think the implementation policy is what is lacking. We, the politicians, have the best policies that we can campaign when it's campaign time, but to implement them has been always the problem, and that is where we are. Look at the policies of the MPP in 2016, 2020 election. If they have been able to implement these policies that they made promise to Ghanaians, I am sure would have been a better position, would not even feel the impact of COVID-19, none that of Russia-Ukraine war. But we make promises just to win elections, and then we give excuses just to sustain the economy.
The majority in parliament were up in arms to oust to tell the president to oust the finance minister. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that when you put men who are supposed to manage the economy, and you look around and you realize that as you wanted or as you expect, the economy is not doing that. You change drivers of the economy. You change the management team of the economy. It has nothing to do with who is there, whether it's your cousin, your brother, your mother, your wife, or your friend. What you need is delivery. What you need is results. So if there are no results coming, you make changes. Don't you think that in 2024 we'll make a change? We'll definitely make a change because we're not. So the finance minister issue has to do with supervising our currency to be the worst currency in the world. Okay. The finance minister said they were not going to borrow. They've borrowed more than any other nation in the world. They've borrowed more than any other government in the world. They said they were not going to IMF. Now they are at the doors of IMF begging, not even asking, begging. How can a nation with all these resources, gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese, oil, timber, cocoa, go and beg for 3 billion? When every year, every month, investors who are managing our diamond, bauxite, and gold take more than 3 billion out of this country. When every year, our oil partners take more than 10 billion out of this country. When every year, people in the mining sector take more than $10 billion out of this country. So you ask yourself, if all these monies leave your country, and yet you go out there to beg for 3 billion, and when they ask you to do the domestic debt program, exchange program, then you now starve your own people. You take what is your right away from them. And then you say you are doing a program just to get 3 billion. When you could have even restructured your finances very well and your debts very well, and you could have gotten even money from them rather than going to IMF. If I were the government in power, I don't need to go to IMF. If I decide to float a good bond, and I'm sure of paying those bonds, Ghanaians themselves would have bought the bond that would have given you more than 3 billion. But it's because we don't pay debts. We mismanage our resources. We misuse the resources we have. When we borrow, we don't make good use of it. We consume it. We waste it. Corruption, mismanagement. So there is no way you keep borrowing and you cannot pay and everybody will give you money. Nobody's going to give you money when you don't even pay interest on borrowing, not to talk about borrowing. So the question is, what do we do with the money we borrowed so far? That's the simple question government should answer. Because you borrow to build a company, you borrow to build a school, you borrow to build hospital, you borrow to build roads and all that. All these things, after properly restructured, there's what we call returns from them. And those returns are supposed to be paid the loan, including the interest on the loan. But we cannot pay interest on loan, not to talk of loans. So our country has been downgraded by Moody's C. What it means is that we cannot even pay interest on borrowing, not to talk of borrowing. So that is where we are. But look at the kind of resources surrounding us. Human resources, we do have it. Mineral resources, we have it. And all the other resources you can think of. But what we don't have is a good leader. And we in the APC and Hassan Ayariga, we've been saying that make a change.
A good leader as in what? As in who?
I mean, when you say good leader, who's the number one gentleman of the country?
Oh, he's the president.
Yes. If you have one good leader, one. If you vote Hassan Ayariga just for one term, I don't even need to be two-term president. I don't need that. Because when you're a good leader, you build a country that could be sustainable and replicate itself. And Ghanaians will buy into it, and then you build a country that everybody will satisfy.
Sir, is it not the case of weak institutions? Because the recent Auditor General's report made revelations of infractions.
Who built weak institutions? Leadership. Who
Okay.
built strong institutions? Leadership. So when I'm talking about leadership, it's a general thing. It's not just about the institutions alone. It goes beyond institutions. When you're a good leader, you build strong institutions that will sustain themselves. You're a good leader, you have a country where there's discipline, respect for one another. Our country is full of, it's a reckless economy. Okay, our country is lack of discipline. People behave as if there are no laws in this country. Government behaves as if there's no audit in this country. Those in government behave as if the country belongs to them. They do whatever they want. They get to work at the time they want. They close work from what time they want. They spend government money and nobody audits them. And a whole lot of mess. That's the problem. And everybody gets away with it.
Yes, that is why I'm saying that nothing like a whip is cracked on those who who indulge in such heinous activities.
Exactly. And who has to do that? The leader. The leader of this country must make sure leadership is given out at the right at all levels. You appoint the minister. If the minister is not performing, you fire him. You appoint the chief director. If anybody you appoint who is not helping your government, you fire the person because you are the one responsible. You are the man on the seat.
Okay,
It's
sir.
your duty to make sure that the institutions are strong. It is your duty to make sure the Ghanaians do the right thing. I mean, it's simple. If we can just do ordinary things in an extraordinary way, we'll not be where we are.
Okay, sir. Recently, the electoral commissioner was in parliament with a proposal, that is a CI, trying, to make the Ghana card sole document or something for the registration or to compile the register in a way. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the EC has gone to Parliament to adapt the CI to make the Ghana card the only document to do the rural registration. That is the continuous registration.
Sure.
Continuous registration means that those who are 18 and now and above who have not registered to have the opportunity to register. For me, I think that making just the Ghana card alone is not enough. It's a good thing, but it's not enough because there are many people who do not have access to the Ghana card and they have been given time to. But the point here is that those who have the passport, I know it is difficult to obtain a passport, but we should not just limit it to the Ghana card alone. We should have given options. Let's okay, if you have a Ghana card, you can be registered. If you have a passport, you can be registered. Are you with me? But then, I
Yes.
believe that the reason why they're going for Ghana card is because, one, Ghana card is free, okay? And it's very easy to obtain a Ghana card than to obtain a passport. That's number two. So I'm sure that is the reason why they are saying that let's go for the Ghana card. But it shouldn't be the Ghana card only. That's my point. Okay? If we add the passport to it and the Ghana card, it makes it easier for those who have passport and do not have Ghana card. Because if you're going to even get a Ghana card, you need to use your passport for it.
But they also made the argument that there are some people who are not nationals of this country, but through their own way have procured passports.
There are people who are holding Ghana cards and are not Ghanaians too. I don't know why they didn't mention foreign cards. Okay? Because they have seen a lot of Lebanese and other people who are holding Ghana cards and they are not Ghanaians and it's written their Ghana card. So what is the essence of the distinction? Ghana card when they are foreigners. So we should have a Ghana card and a foreign card. Okay? But the point is that, for me, I think that we've gone a long way to be dealing with Ghana card. That is why the APC in our manifesto in 2020, we proposed a national database. A national database will help us solve these calamities and challenges and debates we are having in Parliament. And I don't know why until now we have not thought of it. as a nation. And that's why I keep complaining about leadership.
How is that different from the Ghana card that we are now practicing?
Excellent question. You see, a national database system is some kind of system that generates the identification of every Ghanaian right from birth, your fingerprint right from birth, your address, your family, your data, okay, where you work, your telephone numbers, your family, your house number, all the cards you have, it has a date, even your bank account. This system captures all that from birth till the last old man standing. So this system will also share its information to all relevant institutions in this country: police, immigration, banks, hospitals. Even your hospital card will be captured in there. So with this national data system, it captures everything about it. It's some kind of a policing economy where it captures every information about you. When you move from your office and you come to my house, even the cameras will show your movement. When you leave this country and you move to another country, even at the airport, the moment the key, it goes to the national data system. Oh, Hassan Ayariga just left Ghana to the UK. So all these information are captured in one data system that now distribute to all organs or all other institutions. So an institution like NIA is very easy to print any document for anybody. You go there, even if you misplace it, the key in Hassan Ayariga, it will show date of birth, Hassan Ayariga, where his location, where he works, the number of cars he has, his children. Every information about Hassan Ayariga will drop. So if the Ghana, what do you call them, EC wants an information, the information will be given to you automatically. They don't even need to ask. By the time everyone turns 18, they get that information and print out the card of that person. There is no duplication. You cannot have a duplicate of a national data system. So it is unique and perfect for everything. The corruption will be the thing of the past. Ghost names will be the thing of the past. Mismanagement and wastage of our resources will be the thing of the past. Crime will be the thing of the past. A whole lot of things that you think of.
Sir, we appreciate your time spent with us this morning.
Thank you too, and have a good morning.
Thank you. Dr. Hassan Ayariga, a leader, founder, my APC. I mean, APC, Emienu. Baako na wa Nigeria no mampani president elect Bola Tinubu na
okayfm 101.7